The thing that could be quite relevant to say today is this. In general, of course, as we all know, people in general are not really interested in truth. They are interested in that which makes them comfortable. And that which makes people comfortable is that which they already know. It's the paradigm in which they've been living in for a long time. They don't want to change their insight, so to speak. They don't want to have another insight that may threaten this paradigm. This goes for science, for philosophy, for the art world, for normal life, for business life, for politics, for everything. And it also goes for spirituality, of course. So if we want to say something true, then we can say this. What is it that is actually true? Something that we cannot deny. It is just completely true. Well, the nervous system is true. The nervous system is truth. The nervous system is that which constitutes your life. The nervous system is that which carries your life. The nervous system is that which, together with the brain, and the brain is the culmination, so to speak, of the nervous system. The brain is the end. It's the top balloon, so to speak. It's the end station, the last station of the nervous system, where everything comes together in a big salad, in a big bowl of soup on top of the nervous system. So the nervous system and the brain is that which constitutes your life. And there is something that is the autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system is that which makes it possible for you to not do anything by yourself. You can let go of every faculty that you have. You don't have to attach to consciousness. You don't have to attach to your own mind. You don't have to attach to your own idea about yourself. You don't have to be that someone who takes care of something. You don't have to be that, because the nervous system will carry your life. It will carry your existence. Same as when you sleep. You don't do anything by yourself. The nervous system carries your life. The nervous system carries you through the night because it is breathing for you. It is making your heart beat for you. It is giving oxygen to the brain. It does all those things that we cannot do ourselves, but which only, exclusively, which only the nervous system can do. No one else can do it but the nervous system. And so the autonomic nervous system is the reason why we can find God. Because God is simply a part of our inner life experience. It's a part of the inner self-experience of our own inner beingness, you could say. It doesn't matter whether God exists or not. We don't know that. The only thing that we know is that it makes sense to say that God is electromagnetic energy. God is that which constitutes nature, God is that which carries nature. God is that which makes it possible for nature to be that which it is, which means electromagnetic energy, so to speak, to make it easy. There's, of course, quite a lot of science about this, and I've mentioned before that Stanford University is good. To me, I would say that a favorite teacher is Robert Sapolsky. Of course, he's quite legendary now, and he will be more legendary because there's simply not many teachers like Robert Sapolsky, who has such a wonderful persona teacher, and his teaching ability and in his way of including, his way of being inclusive to everything. He invites everyone into his discourse, into his thinking, into his reasoning, which is what a good teacher does. So Robert Sapolsky is, of course, someone that just is very valuable and very important. Andrew Huberman also very clever and bright. And they are representations of knowledge of neuroscience, which is extremely important. But to say a couple of few words about spirituality and God and everything, let's say, for instance, like Shunyamurti in Costa Rica. He's a great spiritual teacher because he's so intelligent, he's so smart. But the reason why Shunyamurti can find the God, the Godhead, the supreme God that he's talking about, is the nervous system, is the autonomic nervous system. And the God of Shunyamurti is the experience that his own self-beingness has towards the ultimate absolute, which in essence means nothingness, so to speak. But there's a fine, subtle emotion there when the inner self, the inner heart beingness connects and relates to that which we call the ultimate absolute, to the supreme being, we can say. This is something that makes sense to say. It's a part of our inner being if we have developed an inner awareness about it. But that's it. This is what it is. It's nothing more, it's nothing less. So if you insist on this paradigm of the Godhead and of the blah blah Christmas calendar of Shunyamurti, then you will basically be an idiot unless you see it as a model and as a system for feeling better, for like a salvation, so to speak. Not particularly self-realization, but self-salvation. You know, you get yourself out of the mind, you get yourself out of the discourse of life, you get yourself out of thinking, you get yourself out of that which gives you problem and suffering, which means your own identification with your psychological self. Shunyamurti calls that the ego, but the ego is simply just an energetic force, so it's a little bit misleading to call it the ego. I think it's better to call it the psychological self, because that is an institution in the brain that is constituted by synaptic activity. And that is what modern society calls the self, the psychological self. But that is a memory base, so to speak, and it's an experience that is more or less constituted by synaptic activity in the brain after we order this synaptic activity to occur. We order, so to speak, our own experience of our psychological self. We give this command. Now I'm going to experience my own brain. No, now I'm going to experience my own psychological self. And okay, so then it comes then. It's a part of the neurocircuitry. It's a part of the activity in the brain that is synaptic activity. And of course, the reason why it happens is neurochemicals and neurotransmitters and electromagnetic energy and blah, 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 blah. And for Muji, another one who is very popular, Muji, Shiva, Sheikh Baba, he's very lovely and very fine, you know, and he points to the self, which is the salvation, you know, the inner self, which is the salvation that Ramana Maharshi gave to the world. Ramana Maharshi gave this to the world, same as Jesus. You know, Jesus Christ also gave this to the world in a sense if we understand Jesus in the right way. But we couldn't do that because we are primitive monkey apes who gets led astray by the interpretation machine in the brain, because we don't have any knowledge about the human program. Until I come and teach about the human program, until I come and deliver to the world the knowledge of the human program and of the interpretation machine and of the projection machine in the brain. Ta-da-ta-da-ta. And that's very, very good. You know, it's the best knowledge in the world. If you want it, you can get it for free. You know? That's very good. But, yeah, so this is what it is. Basically, it's the nervous system that carries all of this, you know? The supreme knowledge of Jesus Christ is made available to us because of the nervous system also. We are able to find the finer parts of our own heart, and we are also able to find the complete truth, the Christ heart, which means total liberation of the human condition. We have that inside ourselves as a possibility. Why? Simply because it's possible for us to have this experiential reality within us, and we can connect to this reality because we are given the freedom to do so through the autonomic nervous system. The nervous system makes it possible for us to connect to the divine, to the Supreme Heart, to the Godhead, which is an experiential reality, inside of us. So we can call it this, we can call it that, but it exists within the domain of our own consciousness. We don't know if it exists outside of the domain of our own consciousness. We don't know that. So it's a part of self-help, it's a self-help practice, so to speak. It's a strategy for making our own mental life into the product that would be a great place for us to be, more or less. That's what it's all about. Rupert Spira also, he's also all about this. Rupert Spira, if he was honest, he should just say the autonomic nervous system. Breathe and receive the experiential reality of the nothingness that is delivered through the autonomic nervous system. That's Rupert Spira, but instead of saying that, he says that the background awareness is God, right? And why not? That's very beautiful and it's very nice, and it's a rip-off of Nisargadatta Maharaj. Of course, Rupert Spira is a disciple of Nisargadatta Maharaj, or was until 2 or 3 years ago, where he started actually to find his own little shelf, his own little niche, his own little window in the Christmas calendar of self-insight and of self-insight within the domain of self-help spirituality, and within the domain of self-identification with the ultimate absolute instead of identification with the psychological self. So all of this is made available to us through the nervous system. And this is also, of course, why scientists are usually more honest than spiritual teachers, because spiritual teachers simply want followers. They want to be loved, basically. They want to be loved and cherished, and they want to be the person who gives the truth to the world. But this truth is an experiential reality which is available to all of us if we practice self-insight, introspection and self-insight. Who am I? What is it that is relevant to call the I? I mean, which institution, which part of me is that which is the I, or represents the I, or is the same thing as the experience of that which we call the I, and so forth. This is simply just about introspection. We have to experience it for ourselves. But it's not dangerous, it's very healthy to do so. And the reason why people don't do it is, as I said in the beginning of this talk, that people are afraid of truth. They are afraid of that which they don't know. But that which is on the other side of that which we fear is basically nothing. It could be death if we're staring into the face of a hungry lion, of course. But then on the other side of that would be nothingness as well. Or we don't know. We don't know that. We don't know anything, except for the fact that the thing that is really truly true in this world is the nervous system. We live because we are constituted by the nervous system. And if you're a spiritual teacher, and if you overlook this fact, then you are an idiot. That means that Mooji is an idiot, Rupert Spira is an idiot, Shunyamurti is an idiot, and I'm happy to repeat this. I don't mean this because I love the fact that they are sincere in their search. I love the fact that they are sincere in their God heart, in their love for the God heart, in their affection for that which is God, in their affection for that which is the self, in their affection for that which is the relationship between the self and the Godhead, in their affection for that which is to experience the ultimate absolute and to relate to it. I love that because I'm like that myself. So I'm just competing a little bit here, I'm just competing a little bit here and trying to say something that it's really stupid to forget the nervous system, because that's what it's all about. And this is also why people come to the spiritual teachers, because we are traumatized. We have trauma inside ourselves. We have emotional and psychological trauma inside of ourselves, and this is why the nervous system gets dysregulated. The dysregulation of the brain, which we all live in, more or less, is a result of trauma and discomfort and fear. And that's why we need the absence of fear. The gospel is at the absence of fear, That's what the gospel is. Love is the absence of fear. Actually, love is the absence of fear, because if you're not afraid of anything, that which you will have access to as an experiential emotional reality within you is love, appreciation, gratitude for that which exists. But because we have fear, that fear comes from the nervous system by its own nature. That will never stop. But we are dysregulated because of trauma, and that's why people come to Muji. That's why people come to Rupert Spira. That's why people come to Shunyamurti, because they are dysregulated in their nervous system, because they have trauma in their system. And the way to address this trauma is something that is extremely important, of course, and there are different ways to approach the treatment of our own individual trauma. But we cannot really successfully do that unless we recognize and accept the fact that the nervous system is that which carries and constitutes our life, and also that which regulates and dysregulates our own brain. Because the brain activity is the reason why we come to the retreat. Our own brain activity, we call it the mind or the monkey mind, but it's actually just a dysregulated brain. It's a dysregulated nervous system that comes into the brain as stress, as mental stress. And this is why we go to the teacher, to the guru, to Muji, to Rupert Spira, to Shunyamurti, to Ramana Maharshi, to Nisargadatta Maharaj. And if we have good luck, we find that which we are looking for. But the truth is that when we have success, when we are successful in our spiritual journey, it is when our nervous system gets regulated. We cannot say that you have any kind of success unless your nervous system is regulated. So you have to go from dysregulation to regulation. That is the fruit. That is the fruit of the Dhamma, so to speak. That is the fruit of spiritual insight. That is the fruit of psychological insight. It's the fruit of the insight to the nervous system, which is that which carries our life. So to understand the nervous system is extremely important, and don't be afraid of it, because you don't have to do anything yourself. The only thing that we have to treat is our own fear of that which we don't know, and our own brain is producing that fear because we are dysregulated. In our modern society, we are dysregulated by an enormous amount of impressions and media and information, and we are also dysregulated because of emotional and psychological trauma, something that we do not admit, something that we don't talk about, but which is the fundamental reality of modern normal life. We suffer from emotional and psychological trauma, which regulates and which dysregulates the brain and the nervous system and gives us stress and fear and anxiety and discomfort. So without understanding the nervous system, there cannot be a true understanding of human life, and there cannot be a complete, successful inner heart spiritual journey towards the ultimate absolute, or towards the Godhead, towards the Supreme, towards that which we love to have in our own heart, unless we get regulated in our brain and in our nervous system. The regulated, balanced, natural, peaceful nervous system, that is the Garden of Eden, so to speak. That's where we can find the truth. That's where we can find ourselves as we are, because we lose ourselves when we are in dysregulation. We enter confusion. We become one with the mental confusion unless we are able to regulate our nervous system. So to regulate our nervous system is extremely important. And as I've said, that unless we as a humanity understand the human program, we are a failure. We cannot touch the ultimate. We cannot be perfect. We cannot be good. We cannot be divine. We cannot be true. We cannot be truth as a human heart in a good society. We cannot be good people unless we understand the human program. And to understand the human program, we have to accept the basis of it, which is the nervous system. Within the nervous system, there are everything that only science perhaps can give us answer to, the neurochemicals, the chemicals themselves, the electromagnetic energy, the synaptic activity, the vagus nerve, the blah blah blah, all of that. And most of all, if we don't understand the interpretation machine which comes automatically, which is constituted automatically by the brain itself, and the brain itself is the human program. If we don't understand the interpretation machine and the projection machine, which is a normal, natural, automatic feature of our brain activity, if we don't understand that, then we will forever be blind and stupid. We cannot be first-class citizens. And we want to be first-class citizens because we want to have supreme insight inside our own heart. We want to have supreme insight in our own heart so that we can come to peace and understanding and develop a society which is the best society, the highest quality of the human heart in human society that we can ever achieve. That's our goal. That's what we want. The thing that we want is the highest quality of the human heart that we can achieve in this life. And in order to get that, we need an awareness in society that cultivates this inner practice that can give us the inner heart that we want in this world. Amen. Thank you.